Who rebuilt Japan? The United States. Who rebuilt the UK? The United States. Who rebuilt Germany? Who rebuilt France? All the United States. Is it any surprise that all of these countries since World War II have then been close diplomatic, political, and economic allies? No. And guess what they all have? They all have very similar sheds because we built their political systems from World War II based on ours. That's the American model. That's been how America has grown economically so quickly all over the world. Guess who's mimicking that model now? China. The real conflict between the United States and China, nobody can define it. Trump calls it a trade war because we have a bunch of cheap Chinese goods. That's not the problem. The problem is that Xi Jinping understands that what he wants for China is for China to be a net exporter of high technology. Who's the only other high exporter of high technology? The United States. That's the conflict, because what China is doing is giving the rest of the developing world an alternative to the United States. Well, if I make coffee and you make coffee, we're in competition for the person who wants to buy coffee. Whoever wins that person wins more money. Whoever wins that person wins repeat buyers. And now I might lose my company. My coffee shop might shrink and your coffee shop might grow because this person is choosing your coffee when it used to be only mine.
There are three great powers in the world: the United States, China, and Russia. China is a peer competitor of the United States. China is the real threat to the United States. Russia is the weakest of those three great powers by far. Russia is not a threat to conquer Eastern Europe, to dominate all of Europe the way the Soviet Union was after 1945. Russia does not equal the Soviet threat, period. You want to be very careful that you don't put the Russians in a situation where they think their survival is threatened. They think that they're being encircled. They understand that they are the weakest of the three great powers, and they understand that NATO has its gun sights on them. So when you bring Finland and Sweden into the alliance, you bring Ukraine into the alliance, you're giving the Russians a sense that their survival is at risk. They're facing an existential threat. And that's going to put them in a situation where they may feel desperate and they may lash out in ways that lead to serious trouble.
So shocking. There is such a complex overpass in China. 5 floors up and down, 8 directions, 20 ramps. Countless foreigners saw it and said it was crazy. It is the Huangjuewan overpass that has caused countless navigation failures. As the largest and most complex overpass in Chongqing, it crisscrosses and surrounds like a 3-dimensional maze.